All right, welcome to the Explainer. So, you're looking to start a business in Pakistan? Awesome. But, one of the very first decisions you have to make is also one of the biggest, and that's choosing the right legal structure. Don't worry, today we're going to make that choice a whole lot simpler.
Okay, so you've got this amazing, game-changing idea, right? You're all fired up, ready to build and create, and then, bam, you hit this wall of legal jargon and paperwork. It can totally kill your momentum. But hey, don't worry. You are definitely not alone in feeling that way.
Yeah, it feels like on one side you've got your passion project, your big idea, and on the other this just confusing maze of regulations. So how do you build a bridge between the two? Well, it all starts with making one single, crucial decision, picking the right legal framework for your business.
A good way to think about it is like this. Are you just taking a quick solo trip around the block, or are you gearing up for a long-haul journey, maybe with partners and investors on board? Your business structure, that's your vehicle. And this choice, it really affects everything. We're talking your personal risk, your taxes, and even your ability to grow down the road.
Okay, so let's dive right in. If you're an entrepreneur in Pakistan, the road ahead pretty much splits into three main paths.
So your main options really boil down to these three. You can be a sole proprietorship, form a partnership, or create a company. Each one is governed by a totally different set of laws, and as you're about to see, each has its own unique rules of the road.
Now, while partnerships are definitely an option, what we see most of the time is that new founders are trying to decide between two main routes, going it alone as a sole proprietor or setting up a more formal private limited company. Since these are the most common starting points, that's exactly where we're going to focus our attention today. So what's the real difference between these two? What really separates them? It's not just about the paperwork. It all comes down to one fundamental legal concept that every single founder absolutely has to understand. And that word is liability.
Okay, you're going to want to lean in for this one, because this is the single most important difference. With a sole proprietorship, the law sees no difference between you and your business. You're one and the same. So if the business owes money, guess what? You owe money. That's what we call unlimited liability. A company, on the other hand, is treated as a separate legal person. It creates this protective shield around you. Your personal assets are safe. And that is limited liability.
And the Companies Act from 2017, it lays this out super clearly. It says your liability is limited to whatever amount is unpaid on the shares you hold. So what does that actually mean? It means if things go south, creditors can go after the company's assets, sure, but they can't touch your personal savings, your car, or your house. That is a powerful layer of protection. So when you look at it this way, you can really see the practical trade-offs, right? A sole proprietorship is super quick, it's cheap, basically free to get your tax number, and it's simple to set up with the FBR. A company, well, that's going to take more time and a bit more money to register with the SECP. But, and this is a big but, it gives you that critical limited liability protection. It's that classic choice, speed and simplicity versus structure and security.
Now, part of that extra complexity with a company comes from two really key documents. First, you've got the Memorandum of Association, or MOA. The easiest way to think of this is like your company's public mission statement. It tells the world what your business is all about. Then you have the Articles of Association, or AOA. This is more like the internal operating manual. It sets out all the rules for how you're going to run the show.
Okay, theory's great, but let's get practical. Let's actually walk through the registration roadmap for each of these options. How do you make it official?
All right, for the sole proprietor, it's beautifully straightforward. The main thing you got to do is register for a national tax number, an NTN, with the FBR. And you can do that online. Once you've got that number, you just open a business bank account, and boom, you are officially in business. It's really as simple as that. Now, for a company, you can see it's a much more formal journey. You're going to start with the SECP, the Securities and Exchange Commission. That's where you'll reserve a unique name and submit all your incorporation documents. Here's the key part. Only after the SECP gives you that official certificate of incorporation does your company legally exist. And then you take that certificate over to the FBR to get a whole separate tax number just for the company. So yeah, it's a two-stage process and you're dealing with two different government bodies. Okay, I know that last part might have sounded a little daunting, but the good news is you absolutely do not have to figure this all out on your own. There are organizations out there like the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority, we just call it SMEDA, and they provide excellent guides that walk you through these exact steps, really helping to demystify the whole process.
All right, so you did it. You successfully registered. Seriously, congratulations. That's a huge milestone. But, getting your business registered is a lot like getting your driver's license.
it doesn't mean you're done. Now you have to actually follow the rules of the road.
Yep, once you're up and running, the responsibilities keep coming. If you start hiring people, you'll need to get on top of things like Social Security and the EOBI pension scheme. And of course, all businesses, no matter the type, have to file annual taxes with the FBR. But if you formed a company, you've got one extra piece of homework. You also have to file annual returns with the SECP, just to keep your company in good standing. And speaking of that EOBI pension fund, here's a key number you want to bake into your financial planning. As the employer, it's on you to contribute 5% of the minimum wage for each employee. It might seem like a small detail, but believe me, it has a real impact on your budget, so you've got to account for it. And this quote here, man, it just drives the whole point home, doesn't it? This decision is so much more than just administrative paperwork. Getting this wrong right at the beginning can have some seriously painful financial consequences later on, and it can affect not just your business, but your personal life too.
So after all that, which path is the right one for you? Well, that choice really comes down to a few things: your ambition, your tolerance for risk, and what your big plans are for the future. When you get this right, you're not just filling out forms. You're laying the solid foundation for everything you want to build. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build on it?